What if I told you that becoming a millionaire has almost nothing to do with being smart and almost everything to do with starting early? Because right now, somewhere out there, a teenager is quietly building a future fortune while everyone else wastes time scrolling, spending, and chasing short-term dopamine. And the scary part? By the time most people realize how money actually works, it's already too late. So in this video, we're breaking down the exact blueprint to build serious wealth from absolutely nothing, starting as young as possible.
Right off the bat, this is the biggest hurdle, isn't it? How on earth do you start investing when you have $0 to your name? I mean, when you have absolutely no capital, getting off the ground feels like the hardest thing in the world. But here's the thing. As a teenager, you have a secret weapon that all the money in the world simply cannot buy: time. Time is the ultimate cheat code in the world of finance, and today we're going to show you exactly how to wield it.
You've got to think of your money like a snowball rolling down a hill. At first, it's small, almost unnoticeable. But as it keeps rolling down that hill, gathering momentum, it packs on more and more snow until it becomes this completely unstoppable avalanche. The sheer length of time your money is rolling, that is your single biggest advantage.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we break it down. Here is our roadmap. 1. The wealth snowball effect. 2. The build-up from ages 13 to 17. 3. The age 18 checklist. And 4. The power of compound interest.
Okay, part 1, the wealth snowball effect. Let's look at why starting early is so crucial.
So, if you're 13 or younger, you can't legally invest on your own. It's just a fact. You need what's called a custodial account. And this is simply an investing account that's controlled by an adult for your benefit. In the UK, it's known as a junior ISA, which lets parents invest up to £9,000 a year totally tax-free. In the US, it's a UGMA or UTMA, where parents can contribute up to $18,000 a year before triggering any pesky gift taxes. You can literally ask for your birthday or Christmas money to be directed right here. Brokerages like Vanguard offer these with incredibly low fees, and honestly, it's the ultimate head start.
But why are we so desperate to get money into these accounts in the first place? Well, take a look at this number, 12.58%. As of May 2024, that is the historical average yearly return of the S&P 500 over the last 10 years. By putting your cash into a simple, low-cost S&P 500 index fund, your money is spread across 500 of the biggest US companies. You don't have to stress about picking individual winning stocks. You literally just sit back and let the market do the heavy lifting for you.
Moving on to part 2, ages 13 to 17. We call this the build-up phase.
All right, here is your exact timeline. At 13, like we just said, you open that custodial account. At 14, because you don't have rent or bills weighing you down, your main job is to try everything. Sports, pressure washing, you name it. There's a great anecdote in the source material about a teen waking up at 4 a.m. for swimming practice. He didn't earn a single dime from it, but it taught him this raw, gritty discipline that he later used to completely outwork his business competition. Then at 15, you get a Saturday job in retail to build up some real-world social skills. At 16, you start stacking technical skills, and by 17, you absolutely must pass your driving test. Let's actually break a few of these down a bit more.
When you hit 15 and you're finally making your own money from that Saturday job, you really need to change your vocabulary. Stop thinking about saving your money. Instead, think about stashing it to build a launchpad. Look, most teens save up for months just to blow it all on a brand new gaming console or a day riding roller coasters at a theme park. And hey, by all means, ride a roller coaster once in a while. Have some fun. But remember, your stash is a launchpad designed to make you even more money. Getting off zero is absolutely the hardest part. Even a tiny $100 launchpad completely changes the game.
And this brilliantly illustrates what happens when you turn 16 and you have a real choice to make. Dropping $500 on video games? That is pure consumption. But using your stash cash to buy, say, a $500 used iMac? Now, that is a launchpad. Because that equipment allows you to teach yourself video editing, Photoshop, graphic design, whatever it is. You are actively stacking skills that hold real, tangible value in the marketplace. When you finally enter the real world, you are already genuinely useful to people.
Which brings us nicely to age 17. Keep this quote in mind. To be early is to be on time is to be late, and to be late is unacceptable. So why is it so vital to pass your driving test as soon as legally possible? Well, relying on public transport makes you unreliable. If you manage to land a freelance client who lives 30 minutes away and your bus is late, you look incredibly unprofessional. Buy a cheap, reliable starter car with your stash, and suddenly,
absolutely nothing is holding you back from seizing opportunities. Part 3. Age 18. This is the ultimate checklist for entering the real world. There are exactly 7 critical rules that unlock the exact moment you are officially classed as an adult. And listen, even if you are well past 18 right now, treat this as a personal audit. You need to execute every single item on this list if you really want to get financially ahead.
Rule number 1. Open dual bank accounts that only you have access to. You need 2 distinct accounts, ideally at entirely different banks, so your savings are totally out of sight and out of mind. First, a checking account, like Monzo if you're in the UK, for your daily cash flow. Second, you want a high-interest savings account, like Chase, which currently offers over 4% interest. This is where you park a 3 to 6 month emergency fund, purely for your own peace of mind.
Rule 2 is to get a credit card. Now, we are so often taught that debt is entirely bad, right? That you should never a borrower be. But honestly, that's kind of a myth. Think of your credit score as basically an Uber rating for your money. You build a great rating by buying regular everyday necessities, like gas, on your credit card, and then paying the balance off in full every single month. You never pay a single cent in interest, but you prove to the banks that you are responsible, and that helps secure lower interest rates for things like a future mortgage. Moving on to Rule 3. Open an investing account, but specifically, you want a tax-advantaged one, like a Roth IRA in the US or a stocks and shares ISA in the UK. This legally shields your investments from taxes. And the best part? Thanks to modern apps like Trading 212, you don't need thousands of dollars to start. You can buy fractional shares. So instead of paying over $200 for one whole share of Apple, you can invest as little as $1, just to get in the game and start gaining real experience.
Rule 4, carefully consider university. If your dream is to be a doctor or a teacher, then yes, a degree is absolutely essential and highly valuable to society. But taking on $60,000 to $100,000 in massive, crushing debt for a degree in something like golf management, that makes absolutely no sense. For fields like tech, entrepreneurship, or the trades, results matter so much more than degrees. Seriously consider apprenticeships where you actually get paid to learn practical skills, rather than starting your adult life chained to student loans.
So, the crucial point here is Rule 5. Understand the stark difference between good and bad debt. Strategic debt, like a mortgage or a business loan, is leverage. You use it to acquire assets that actually increase your net worth. Consumer debt, on the other hand, like financing a fancy car that immediately plummets in value the second you drive it off the lot, that is a massive wealth trap. In the UK alone, 2.2 million drivers finance their cars, completely locking themselves into monthly payments that drain their wealth-building potential.
Rule 6. Start a side hustle. Don't just settle for the daily grind. Remember those skills you stacked back at age 16? The video editing, the Photoshop, maybe some coding? Well, now is the time to deploy them. Start a service-based side hustle like copywriting or videography. It takes almost zero startup capital. Every shift at your day job should just be viewed as an investment. It's literally just a way to fund your real ambitions on the weekends.
And finally, Part 4. The power of compound interest. This is how money makes money. Let's set up a quick baseline scenario so you can see the math in action. Imagine you commit to investing just $250 a month, and let's assume a fairly modest, historical average return of 8% per year. What actually happens if you start doing this at age 18 versus, say, waiting until you're 28? Let's move to the chart and see how this builds, because the math on this is an absolute gut punch. By age 65, the person who started at 18 has accumulated approximately $1.5 million tax-free. But the person who waited just 10 years, starting at age 28, doing the exact same thing, ends up with around $679,000. That is less than half. Plus, starting younger means you're investing while you're in a lower tax bracket, so you're keeping way more of what you earn. A 10-year head start literally doubles your lifelong wealth. So, there you have it. The blueprint is right in front of you. You know the timeline, you have the ultimate checklist, and you've seen the undeniable mathematical advantage of time. But remember, the snowball only builds if you actually take the first step and push it. So the only question left is, will you be the one to start rolling it today?